Hey, what's up? Welcome back to this channel, and in this video I'm going to be showing you and telling you some of my experience with this lens. And this is the Minolta Rokkor or MC Rokkor XPG 50mm f1.4. So as you can see, this is quite an old lens, and I don't think this is something that you'll find on the shelf nowadays unless you go to one of those vintage camera stores or somewhere from the secondhand department stores. One thing I need to tell you about this is a vintage lens. So this is the Minolta using the MD mount, and can you see it? The MD mount, and this is the adapter for the MD to the E mount for Sony. So the first thing I'd like to tell you about this lens is the build. This lens is built like a tank. It is pretty much all made out of metal. The only thing that is not metal on this whole entire thing is this rubber ring here for the focus ring, and everything else literally is made out of metal. For this lens that I got, this copy that I have, the lens ring is extremely smooth. I don't know if all the other copies in the world is going to be just as smooth. It could be just because this was in a very good condition when I picked it up. Next thing I'd like to tell you about is the aperture ring. So the aperture ring is so the aperture goes up to 1.4 and down to f16, and it has a little click to each of the steps, so it clicks in and out. Really cool. I really like this lens. So the reason why I like this lens is, man, this thing is sharp. Obviously it's not as sharp on the corners, partially because it is a vintage lens. I don't think technology back then were as good as it is nowadays, but man, this thing is sharp for what it is. I think this lens might be built back in the 1980s or 90s. I'm not exactly sure, but I'll put some information on the screen right here. But whatever it is, these lenses were built well. I mean, it was made in Japan, as it says right there. Yeah, right there. And yeah, I don't know what else to say. This thing is bloody sharp. Colors from this lens are also really nice, and it is really easy to use. And the great thing about having a vintage lens is, especially when you're using these lenses with a mirrorless camera, you get the perks of having focus peaking. And the reason why you would like to have focus peaking with these lenses is because because it's so old, there is no such thing as autofocus, and everything needs to be manually focused. And if you have focus peaking on your camera, chances are you're going to be able to nail the focusing quite often and really well with this lens. And it just works hand in hand. I mean, like, you get new technology, so you can use old technology stuff. Very good. And if you do have a mirrorless camera, like, want any of the Sony mirrorless cameras or any of the Canon or Nikon or Nikon cameras, mirrorless cameras, you can definitely get one of these adapters and just adapt it to any of these vintage lenses and just use them. But back to this lens. This lens was something that I got during COVID, partially because when COVID hit, all the postage and all the shops that I was going to buy things from were not going to be able to ship things to me on time or anything. So I just decided to go on Facebook Market or eBay just to see if I can find anything, because I was just itching to spend money on something on camera gear, but I haven't. But anyways, I bought this instead. This thing cost me about $80, so really cheap for what it is. It is a 50mm, so I'd like to give you a challenge. See if you can find me a 50mm that is under $100. If it's anything modern, it's going to be quite hard there, unless it's broken or it's been dropped a few times. So for I keep saying 55 is a Sony lens, but for the 50mm, this is great for what I do. Obviously, like I said before, because it is a manual lens, I'm going to be using this for majority of the time on a tripod for videos where I just need to lock off all the settings and just leave it there and just record. Apart from that, I'll probably take this out to do some astro and see what I can get out of it. Because it's a 1.4 aperture, I think I'll be able to get some pretty good images with this lens of the Milky Way or something like that. But anyways, that's going to be down maybe a couple of months down the track, and I'll let you know some of my experience with it. The color coming out from this lens is ridiculous. It's really colorful and it's really nice. I don't know what else to say about it. It's just extremely good. This lens, top notch. If you do find this on a shelf somewhere, I highly recommend it. If you see this on eBay, or Facebook Market or Craigslist, I highly recommend you try to get a copy of this. If you're into vintage lenses, something that you should definitely pick up. Apart from that, I don't know what else to say about it. Yeah, pick one up if you can. That's all I have to say. If you have any questions about this lens, let me know down in the comments below. Otherwise, have an awesome day, and I'll see you in the next video.